Good evening. Welcome to Investigator News, and this is today's news and world news. And are we ready for this? Spies like us. The United States is openly asking Russians to spy on Americans on behalf. Now you know you heard that right. In fact, a recruitment program has been launched on YouTube of all places, and this comes in the form of a video. And the video features a man, and he is seen trudging through snow, also featuring a woman. She is staring out the window, and this video is 2 minutes long, and it has quotes from Leo Dostoevsky, and the message is very clear. And what they want to do is they want to make contact with the CIA. And it says, I'm quoting, perhaps the people around you don't want to hear the truth. You have to look. So Russia has asked the CIA to look at the further information that there are CIA trying to recruit Russians to spy on America. Yeah, you heard that right. You definitely heard that right. Everything related to a spy agency is supposed to be secretive and clandestine, from its recruitment to its operations. But here you have the CIA running public recruitment campaign, a public recruitment program, pleading to the people's sense of uh, heroism, patriotism, urging them to share information on the Russian economy and on the country's leadership and what they have in the military, urging them that what could be the biggest and perhaps one of the deadliest risks. We wonder how the Kremlin is reacting to all of this. I don't know if I'm convinced that our special services are also the space monitoring the space in necessary ways. And basically, with the CIA and other Western intelligence services are not reducing their activity on the territory of not only our country, but other countries. The CIA has done this before, and it's something that, me and William might even talk about in the future. That the CIA goes around and it spies on all the countries. But this is really the first time we wanted, and now might not be the first time. William might be in here checking us out, but it might not be the first time. I don't think so. Um, so the CIA put out social media. Now, this is a first post with the step by step instruction for Russian informants. Um, the American Intelligence Agency also shared tips on how spies can avoid being caught by the Kremlin. You know, virtual private networks contact to the CIA on a dark web. Oh, no, watch out on that dark web, folks. I went there and it destroyed a computer of mine. It shut it down and it didn't work after that. And so now the dark web, and 15 months into the war, the CIA is backed with hiring of Russians. Russian collusion, it sounds like to me. I mean, we're going to even get into the Durham report, but this is ever since the war started, intelligence has been shared or leaked unprecedented rate. Um, Now, the Wagner chief, now he's being accused of offering to share with the Russian military positions with Kiev. Um, really? This Russian private army is being accused of offering to share Russian military positions in exchange for Ukrainian troop withdrawal around Bakhmut. Um, and this is what Washington Post is reporting. And it's citing leaked Pentagon documents. And why do we keep getting these leaks out of our country? We should not. William and I would tell you our country should not be leaking information to anybody, especially Russia or China. How much of this leak and how much is a plant? It's pretty hard to tell. And given the war in Ukraine, it's also blown into a full fledged information warfare. Of course, both sides are looking for the info. Of course, they're looking for every little snippet that they can find out where they can gain ground in this war. And they're and so when the attack on Kiev in the last 24 hours, I think it was a couple days ago though, in at least the last 24 hours, there is an intel war going in between Russia and Russian army divisions. Yeah, we did hear that. And that's what, let me throw up what he just said. Hello, Mary. Hopefully you don't get kicked out. I don't know. Mary, I don't know why we're having so much problems with you. And I got to get you your wrench. Um, Definitely. It's blocking me from doing anything. I'm not sure if it's YouTube or if it's Facebook because it's not allowing me to add anything at this point. I think because of how much info I give you guys, I don't think they know how to take my account because I'm right on the line. I'm right on the line where it's public information and it's info that I get from reporters and my own informants. And so I think I'm just on the verge of, they don't know how to take me just yet, huh, William? I don't know if they want to cut me or if they want to uh, let me keep going to see what I say. But I know they're watching. It's okay. You know, I'm good. I'm good. Maybe it's just Hillary. Yeah, I'm gonna get to her in a second. Yeah, I don't want. I hate Hillary, folks. I hate her over the boys, and I'll get into a little bit of that. So um, there is the Ukraine military and officials are calling it. They claimed that this attack was uh, exceptional. Now, get this: we had Iran attack, sent drones over to assassinate um, Putin, and I thought that's weird. William, isn't that weird? I mean, we might have to get into this tomorrow, but why would Iran attack an ally? The only thing I could think of is um, it's either Israel or it's the United States or it could be NATO. But Zelensky said he didn't do it. Russia said we didn't do it. And now all eyes are on the United States. I, mean, I was like, wait a minute, it was Iran that sent it, folks. Did they? Now, what was their first reaction? They looked at Putin first. Why would Putin send up drones to assassinate himself? Doesn't make sense. Now, maybe Zelensky, but he said he didn't do it either. So then it leads to NATO. So we're going to have to wait and see what uncovers. But now these spies that are being the spies of um, Russia. The problem is now they want them to not only do Russia, but they want them to go into other countries. And folks, I got to tell you that this happens all the time. What was that? Born Identity. He was a spy. Um, we do the CIA is all over the world. And so when this came out and they were like, oh, look at this is big news. Not really. Not really. The CIA, they are all over the world. That's part of what they do. They spy. They're spies. And that's what they're supposed to be doing, not looking at presidents, former presidents. Let's send them out to do their job. Let's not keep spying on Americans. Let's send them out to do what they're supposed to do. Let's find out what China's doing. Um, let's see. Um, they don't know if we have settled on any political position. Also, we have been useful in getting ideas out of the norm. You're frozen, Mary. Quit freezing up there. Yeah, I'm frozen or you're frozen because it looks like I'm pretty good. So William will let me know. William, or if you're watching, hit it in the comments if I quit broadcasting. Um, no sound and frozen. William, what am you still hearing me? You guys are going to have to let me know so I know what's going on. All right, um, people are um, people are very fearful when Zelensky leaves out of Ukraine, and he basically they were like hiding in their bomb shelters over since he's been gone. And he did a visit to European cities, Rome, Berlin, Paris. He'd get back home. Remember, he used to be on the front lines with these guys. Now he's not. He also thanked UK for agreeing to train Ukrainian pilots in the Western Plains. Ukraine clearly needs at this point, because the looks of it with Russia has um, clearly has an offensive with targeting Kyiv. Now, Russia says it's destroyed a Patriot missile defensive system in Kyiv. So it looks like Kyiv is his next target. Now, he said nothing about that. But they have got the Lenin statue, and he does control Chernobyl. So, and Chernobyl's off to, um, it's west of Kyiv. So that's what I'm thinking. He thinks if he's supposed to be responsible for Chernobyl, above it, Kyiv, and all that area, he's going to want to take it. Um, so we're spending billions of dollars to be able to um, fight this war, and everybody keeps saying send more, send more. But I think the public now is getting old with that because of everything going on with what's coming over our border. They're not into let's send millions and billions of dollars to Ukraine. Now their focus is on our own border and what could possibly happen. And even the socialist Marxist um, 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 president that we have that's of putting socialism into our country. Um, now, boy, folks, we found out yesterday that now I want to talk to you about the Durham report real quick. I know you heard it all over the place. Now, now let's start kind of at the beginning. Um, Now, what the first thing I heard when before Mueller did his report, Dan Bongino came forward, and boy, if I could find the clip, where he said he had found the whole Russia report. They call it the PP tape, I guess, or the PP report. And what a name for that! And it came from a magazine that had the same story. And when you look at when Hillary turned this over to um, Fusion GPS and a few others, that this is what came out of it. It was the same thing. And I want to let you know, if it wasn't Trump, okay, they had everybody's name that were running for that were Republicans that were running for president. There was even a woman. I can't remember. Maybe it was. I'm not going to say who it was, but they even had her name on there. So no matter who was president, they were going to do this to this whole Russia collusion. They were just going to flip it around to fit the person, whoever's name they put on it. Um, and they were going to discredit. They were going to discredit Trump, but it would have been any of them by claiming Russian collusion. And Joe Biden was made aware of it by Clinton campaign plans. He was told, so get this, so he knew about this August 3rd of 2016. The CIA director, John Brennan, in the Oval Office with Obama, Biden, James Comey, and other senior administration officials. I'm thinking that Schumer. They were discussing Russia's efforts to interfere in the election. And according to a handwritten note, the recollections from the meeting uh, was the Clinton plan intelligence. Now, now Durham writes specifically, Director Brennan's declassified handwritten notes reflect that he was briefed in a lot of meetings with a lot of different participants, and that includes Obama, and regarded the alleged approval by Hillary Clinton, and this was approved on the 26th of July, and a lot of other campaign advisors. So the DNC knew about it. They all knew about this, what Hillary was going to do. And it was only to take down whoever made president. So, um, think of it like if it was Cruz or if it was Rubio or even, does anybody remember who the lady was? Can you imagine if it was a lady president and they did this to her? And they were stirring up a scandal claiming interference by Russian security services. Not only did all of this, I mean, we already know about this. We dealt with Mueller report and the Durham report for how many years now? Not only did all of this that we already knew, uh, it came from the Clinton campaign. But remember, early stories it came from the GOP. They claimed the Republicans were doing this at one point. And so they were doing a lot of research and of the president. And do you remember um, um, they put listening devices in Trump Tower? You guys remember that? All of this. And remember Schiff? Adam Schiff? Oh yeah, he had Adam Schiff had the intel to prove this was going on. Shame on him. What is he saying now? Yeah, show us the intel. Show us the proof, Schiff. Adam Schiff. Yes, you guys remember that? See, my thing is, folks, and what I wanted to bring to you today is that it could have been anybody. Now we're going into a 2024 election. Um, we have had nothing but lies from this administration. And now we found out all of this was lies. How many lies is it going to take for the Democrats to say enough? Now, the media's paid. Remember, because I told you the other day when I did the Biden report and with China, they Obama called the media in, and they were very well paid. Then when Biden went in office, they did the same thing. And every time you've seen Comey, what do you say? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know nothing. So yeah, everybody says this is so big. Who's to blame? Who's to blame? I read the whole Mueller report. I read everything that was put out on this. And so who started this? Who started it? Where'd the story come from? Who processed it? Who gave it to the president? Who gave it to the FBI? Who gave it to Comey? None other than Hillary Clinton. And this is why I don't like her, folks. She did this crap here. Um, Now, Bill Clinton, everybody says, well, where's Bill on this? Bill just parties, folks. He was off at Epstein Island. When they were governors here, all they did was he went out and partied, and she ran the governor's office. And that's the same thing here, except for she worked for the State Department. Now, remember this. So Hillary had been friends with Comey, Mueller, and Epstein, and all of these. They were all seen here in Arkansas in the 80s. So this is a little clique they got going. And so even with Biden, she's known Biden forever, and Pelosi, Adam Schiff, and Schumer, and they're all her little buddies. that little clique in the Democrat Party. And who keeps lying but all of these people? Hillary, this is what Hillary's all about, corruption. And I hate to say it, I think she corrupted I kept saying what they did here, they corrupted Arkansas, and they swore they were going to take it to Washington. Look at what she's done. She only worked for the State Department, folks. But okay, if she worked for the State Department and the DOJ, she was friends with Comey and all these FBI guys. The Mueller report was all the ones that were going to investigate this was all of her lawyers. I'm giving you guys stuff that you can hear all the other stuff on the news. What I want to tell you is the stuff maybe you don't know about her and Comey. And I think Comey would be the next to be indicted. Now, you say, oh, what about Biden? What about? No, okay, now let's set them aside. Because when it came down to it, who started it? It was Hillary Clinton. Who pushed it to where the FBI and everybody was investigating it? That would be Comey. Why did they let Hillary off then? Why that? Why, and we hear stories. And now you hear the media, oh, it was a nothing burger, what came out. Yes, it was something. Durham caught him red-handed. And you say, oh, why are they going to have a hearing? The hearing is to bring Durham in and explain every point of what happened. We had a first lady that decided to go to work for the State Department, that corrupted the State Department to help her, and these were her aides, her own people, go to the DOJ. And oh yeah, she had control of the DOJ too. And then go to the FBI. Oh, look at my friend, Mr. Comey. Yeah, me and him been buddy for 30, 40 years. Yeah, Comey, how do you want to make a few mil? Because Clintons are zillionaires, just like the Bidens. How many billions do you want? How many millions do you want, Comey, to help me do this? We won't get caught. We'll do it real good. We got the State Department. We got the DOJ. Hey, and you know what? I even talked to Clapper and Brennan, my old buddies. Yeah. You can see. And then Mueller. And did anybody know that when Mueller report was done, they took out about 20 FBI agents that were looking at this, and she put in 11 of her own. And I kept saying all I could see was she was shredding and shredding, like we seen here. It was to go in and clean it all up, so nobody could get the information of what she did, and find out and put evidence in against Trump. This is very important, folks, for you to know, because this is corruption 101. Mueller's her buddy. How much money did Mueller make off of the Mueller report and what he did? Comey walked away. And they let him go, along with all these others. Now, when we look at when we look deep on who was really doing a lot of the footwork, I'm going to say Miss Sood. His report, his lawyer has it, but has always refused to turn it over. That, I think, has got something in it that we need to know. And it went to the grave with him. He was here, there, everywhere, no matter who they talked to. I can't remember his name. A lot of the people that were involved, Miss Sood. It's MIFSUD. And you can run it through and you'll see he was a big part of this, folks. He was in the middle of everything. And when it came time to the end, when the Mueller report came out, he went and he gave his testimony to his lawyer. And then, of course, he said, I'm dying. And within weeks, he was dead. Yeah, that happened in Arkansas, too. Everybody ends up dead. Me and Lee talked about it. 10 boys were witnesses to the Clintons ordering 2 boys to be killed on the track, and all 10 are dead. Wow, that's what they do. Arkancide isn't just a silly thing that we all throw out. Arkancide is a real thing. And when they do things and they're corrupt, they pay people off. They may get the millions, but then they have to worry as when is Hillary coming back? It's a scary thing, folks. Um, and I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time on Durham because that's what's all over the news. Durham, 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 Durham. Yeah, I've got the report. I got it. I looked through it and I said, you know what? I'm going to tell people what they don't know and who I think needs to be indicted and who needs to be charged. And to me, it should be, if you round it all up, it should be Hillary and Comey because Hillary started it. Comey was the FBI agent that pushed it through. And that's who investigated it. The DOJ should have indicted her and prosecuted these people, but they didn't, because it was for Hillary. What is she going to do next, folks? She's way worse than Papa George, Daddy George. And Daddy George, I mentioned last night. He wanted to jump out and say, well, there's rumors that said I was dead. Well, who gives a crap about him? If he died, I think there'd be celebrations in the street. We're done with it, Papa George. Now, I also mentioned last night that AOC, her aide, folks, this is really odd. An ex-aide, okay, I'm sorry about that, of AOC is now working as a senior official in the New York State Communist Party. Her name is Justine Medina. She's 33 years old, and she spent a year employed by the Squad as a leader of the political organizer of their campaigns, and was paid more than $35,000 in between February and November of that year. She's paid a lot of money. They pay her well. Is she one of them that, them aides that cook up the books, is what I say. And so now she is co-chair of the New York Young Communist League. If you guys all thought that communism left with the Bay of Pigs and JFK, and nobody talked about Cuba. My mama did. My mom, she was fit to be tied about anything Cuban, anything communist. And hello to Miss Linda from Illinois. Welcome to the show. And what did I say? Socialism within 2 years leads to communism. They came in as a socialist party. They may say it's social programs, but no. You see fascism, you see Marxism, and you see, now get this, Joe Biden says he's not going to debate with the Kennedy or the other lady that's running. He refuses to. That's what a dictator does. You know what Zelensky did? He threw off the election, said, no, we're in the middle of a war. We're not going to have an election. Oh, well, yeah, that's great. That just leaves him in power. What will come up next? Mary, I hope you're still listening. Mary, what kind of chaos are they going to create next so Joe Biden doesn't have to debate? Now, folks, I want you to really think on this because this happens a lot with this administration. All this chaos, oh, it's over here and over there and it's the border. It's, oh my God, it's Russia. And then they're sneaking off. They're off right now on vacation. What are they plotting next? That's my thing. And sometimes I try to send my girls to go with them. And sometimes they go and sometimes they can't. I don't know yet. And they always went on vacation with Nancy Pelosi. Ooh, who'd want to be on vacation with Nancy Pelosi? But she's got the money to have a good time, though, huh? All right. So we have um, now when we look at the border, folks. Now, why did me and William come on the other night? Because we heard there was going to be they were going to storm the border. That's what, and you can ask William. I said, William, I'm afraid. I'm afraid what's going to happen because they're going to throw women and children out there first. So that's why everybody went on that night. And then we got Joe Biden laughing the other day on his bike. And oh, nothing, everything's fine. No, we have an invasion happening. Um, oh, I wish I could remember the guy's name that came in and said, hey, it's an invasion. Yes, this is an invasion. And you know what they're doing now? Oh boy, they're putting them in gyms. And I said the other day, you watch. They're going to close the schools and they're going to put them in the schools. What are they doing now? They're putting them in the gyms. Now, 30% of these schools, the kids aren't going because the parents are afraid. Are we going to see kids come up missing? We going to see women raped from the schools? We don't know who these people are. They might be. There is some. There is some in the midst of all of this that just want to come here. They want to be free. They want their kids in America, and that's great. But it's the ones we don't know about. And now they're going to start putting them in the schools. Where else are they going to put them? Now, that's fine and dandy. They put them in the gym. But what if they get a couple hundred more? Then where are they going to put them? The classrooms, the cafeteria? Are we going to put uh, all of these people in the schools till when? School starts in a couple months. Then what are they going to do with them? Or are we just not going to have school and they're going to make the kids stay home? Wow. I mean, that's a lot to think about if you're a parent. Start asking questions if you're in a sanctuary state. Now, and these sanctuary cities with these mayors, and I've called a few of their offices now, and now it's kind of making sense. Now we have these states and governors that said we're a sanctuary city, bring them on. But the bring them on meant they thought just a couple families would come over, or a few people that uh, needed sanctuary against their country if they were being looked into. And it'd just be a few families, is what one mayor said. But she said she never thought this would happen. And I asked her if I could use her name, and she said no, because she is fixing to flip into a Republican. She can't handle what's going on in her city. And she said, we're a sanctuary state. We are a sanctuary cities for the most part, and everything coming in. Now, she said, the thing about it is when you call, they were start saying, well, yeah, but we're going to let them in because, this is what we're going to do. They'd never give her an answer why, she said. And then the next time she called, they never answer the phone after that. They don't talk to them. They won't respond. They ignore her. Yeah. So now we have this, oh my goodness, this deal with Jordan Neely. And it's all over the news. And he is a 30-year-old that lives with mom that's got issues, been out of control all of his life. He has been threatening people on the subway trains for a very long time, even hurting people, they say. He is known for violence. And AOC and all that, they didn't look into that. And when I see them rioting on the streets, um, I say, for what? What are you rioting for? And when I listen to them and I look at their signs, and they were even saying about I can't breathe again. They're bringing that back, and that was a farce. They can make those signs, but I want to tell them kids that was a farce. That was, I think, from one of the first ones. Um, oh boy, I wish I could. I should have wrote it down, folks, because doing really great today. Um, it was one of the first ones with the officer, and when it went to court, the kid got on the stand. And he said, "Did he say he couldn't breathe?" He said, "No, I just made that up." And then what do these signs say? They can't breathe. I can't breathe. I did we see that with this last one? No, he shouldn't. The officer should not have had his knee on this guy's neck. That was wrong because he should have let him up soon as they had him handcuffed, but he didn't. And yeah, he's going to get punished for it. But now we look at this kid Neely, and we are looking at Daniel Penny now. Maybe spending 15 years in prison for what? Protecting everybody on the train that day. How many times did um, Mr. Penny ride the train and watch this guy threaten people? And there was other people that were on the train that knew of him making threats. And when he jumped in to stop him, there was quite a few, not the whole train, quite a few on the train that jumped in to help him subdue this guy. Was a chokehold too tight? It might have been, but they want to run um, tests on him to see what was in his system. What if he was totally drunk? We don't know. Neely once tried to kidnap a 7-year-old girl. Did we know about that? Did y'all know about that? He was um he was busted in August 2015 for the attempt at kidnapping after he was seen dragging a 7-year-old girl down the street. He pleaded guilty and tried to say, "Oh, I'm mental." He was only sentenced to 4 months in jail. He punched a 64-year-old man during an altercation and beat him up pretty bad. And that happened in 2019. He ended up slugging and punching a 67-year-old female in the face as she exited the subway and tried to push her down on the tracks. He broke her nose. Um, so is this a guy that, what was he going to do? And the Democrat and AOC and the news, it's AOC and the news media. Quit it. Stop it. Quit making this guy seem like the victim. The people on the train were the victims. What was he going to do next? If he would have killed somebody, and they're saying, no, just ride the train and ignore these people. Well, what about, I have watched so many times where there'll be gang members that go on the train. They'll grab up an old person, they'll beat them up and take their stuff, money. You guys, oh, and this is what gets me. Do you guys remember the gentleman? It was one of the first times we heard anything on a train. He had a gun. He had the gang members come on, and he wasn't supposed to have a gun. I don't even think it was registered to him, and he shot one of them. And when it all boiled down to was self-defense. And if as long as we have a fair judge, which in today's society, you have to wonder when you go before a judge, is it going to be a political thing or is it going to be him being fair and justice? Yeah. So this Neely guy isn't what basically, he's not all what they say he is. I don't think he's a victim. I think he needs to get some mental health. And, if they're going to say mental, he was mental when they go before the judge and get him help. But those rioters on the street, where the hell were you when he was doing this other stuff? And what about when he said he was hungry and he didn't know where to get food? Did you see anything about that? any of these people helping him? Do you see any of the rioters helping people on the street? These mental people? No. And get this: when I asked uh, my nurses up in New York, and I said, "So what are these rioters?" And she said, "I don't know. Half of them are from out of town. They're just here to be here, and then the other ones are just here to be here too because they don't have nothing to do." So we've got about 75% of the rioters for this Neely guy that's there because they have nothing else to do. They're bored, and there's no excitement in New York. So they're going to join in on a protest for somebody that's mental, that's hurting people. And more than likely, if one of them were on the train with them, he would have beat them up too and took their money. you know, uh, they just don't look at this, folks. So, all right, we're moving on. Um, uh, and just when we think it's safe to go to the office, the Democrats, we had a Democrat congressman, his aides sitting there. Yeah, they're sitting there. What? I don't think they answer the phones. I think they sit there and find ways to go after the Republican Party. This guy comes in with a bat and he beat the hell out of him. Wow. And the guy was a Democrat. So we had a Democrat that was didn't like what they've been doing, and one actually wanted this congressman and went in with a baseball bat and beat these people up. And he wasn't even there. He wasn't even in the office. He was, I think, on the floor and during a hearing. And this guy went in and beat up his aides. Yeah. Um, I mean, my computer is being slow today. Um, this is Democrat Jerry Connolly of Virginia. And now this guy, guess what? This guy has a problem with mental health. Here we go again. What has happened? I mention this all the time with William and Mary. What happened in 2020 that all the mental people came out? I mean, we have them before. I mean, we didn't see them with Trump all that bad, and we didn't see them with Obama or Bush, but now all of a sudden we're seeing these mental people with mental issues that are wanting to go around hurt people. They're wandering around. They're all on drugs. They're all wanting to beat people up and rob people. They're homeless. And not only that, but the vets that I seen out in California, they were zombies. There's just nothing there. I mean, nothing there. Nothing there. Um, they got to wear face masks. I'm thinking it's 5G, folks. That's what I'm thinking, because the only thing that came out in between 2018 and 2020 was we all switched to 5G. And you remember everybody said, we don't want it here. And Trump said no. William Barr said no. Everybody said no, this is dangerous because of the capabilities it has. And the UK put it in, and everybody's like, it's fine, you know. And then Biden comes in, it's like, okay, bring in 5G. It's the same way with TikTok. Be careful, folks, with TikTok. There's something about TikTok that our own Republicans aren't telling us. They should be. They say it's just don't use it. It's like 5G. It's don't use it. It's collecting your data. Well, it's collecting our data and doing what? Now, we know that they could put in subliminals. We know they can do flashes. Just be careful, folks, with TikTok. And I know it gives out your information, your friends, your family, anybody you know that's on your phone or Facebook or Twitter, gives all the information to China. I think it does maybe a little bit more. So be very careful with it. Boy, this hour's going by quick. Now then, William, we really got to look into this because this is kind of odd. There's China sentenced a 78-year-old man, and he was sentenced for spying on spying charges, and they're going to put him in prison for the rest of his life. And so I called um, the AG here, and they said they didn't even know about it. And I said, yeah, but if he's one of ours, wouldn't um, wouldn't this administration or the DOJ or the FBI go look into this to see what's up? And the details of his charges against John Xing Wanlun, um, who also holds permanent residency in Hong Kong, they haven't really released anything. But what essentially is a life sentence could already strained relationships between uh, the economies, they say. He was detained April 15th of 2021 by Chinese counterintelligence. And so the relations between Washington and Beijing, we have disputes over spying, trade, technology, human rights, yada, yada, basically. And China's increasing aggressive territorial claims on Taiwan. Now, um, this is, uh, they didn't, Beijing and Jinping didn't decide to get this guy and sentence him until President Biden traveled to the Pacific Rim countries, Hiroshima, Japan, and the Group of Seven major nations summit. And then they decided they were going to go after this guy. Um, so this is really odd that we nobody's saying anything on this. I mean, I caught it on a back page of let's see who did it. Just the News with John Solomon, and it was one of his back page stories that's been out there. And I thought, oh, I waited. I knew about this, I think, last Friday. And I said, okay, of course they're going to come forward like they did that basketball player and with Russia. This is an old man. He needs to go home. And nothing said, nothing over the weekend. And then the Durham report came out. We had the border thing, and but nothing. So William, look into it. Look into this spy. I think we know. I mean, they're not given very many details of why they got him for spying, or actually, really, what he did. They're just going to put him in prison for the rest of his life. Well, there's not much of that. 79 years old. How long is he going to make it? And I just can't believe, just because we're having these exercises, they said, up, he's going to go to prison forever, and being 79 years old. Um, um, let me see. I don't, boy, I got a long list here. Um, Postal carrier robbery spike, 78%. They haven't we haven't had no problems with the postal service. And remember, we see all these funny videos of people running up to steal your packages, and some people have put booby traps, or they've caught it on camera, and they've got these guys. Well, they found out, they don't want the ring camera to catch them anymore. So what they're doing is they're catching them as they go down the road and then stop. And they jump in and they beat them up and they take all the packages. And they're doing it to UPS and FedEx. So now it has increased 78%. Now I had a whole bunch of cups stolen. I wish I knew what happened to them. And I keep sending messages out. If you didn't get one of my cups and you were supposed to, boy, I'm wobbly here. It wasn't an earthquake, I promise. I hit my stand and it wobbled. So 78% of it's went up on crime on the postal service and their trucks in itself. They're no longer. I guess they're scared to go up to the doors now with the ring cameras. Um, this is really exciting because the Mexican military arrests key leaders behind the border state on cartel turf. They got a few leaders. They got a few of the cartel leaders. But you know what? I've learned with my friend down in Tijuana. She said, "Yeah, they'll take the leaders. They do it all the time." and they just put another one in place. They make it with this cartel. They are 5 to 10 that if this leader dies, if I die, you're in charge. And the other guy is all ready and he's ready to go. And he says the same thing. If he gets put in place, he says, okay, now I'm in charge. You're the next one in charge. It's not going to stop the cartel. And I think the Mexicans military really does know this. Um, um, and it's shocking. But what's even more shocking is when I read an article with Antifa going after, it was a rally that babies' lives matter. It didn't say pro-life, it was babies' life matter type of rally. And they went in there and beat up all these moms. They were even jumping women that were pregnant. It's not funny, folks. Um, and the police had to step in and stop them because these were men beating up women. And some, like I said, some were pregnant, and it was a baby's life matters rally. So you see, Antifa don't care. They don't care. Now, did you hear that the IRS with the FBI agents? This was the other big headline today that hardly anybody paid attention to. Was the IRS stopped the FBI investigators and dropped them all out on the Hunter Biden tax evasion. And I really don't know what's going on with it. I heard it late today. Well, I heard it this morning, and I thought, maybe I'm going to have to wait a little bit and see what comes out. Because sometimes you'll hear a story and they'll get it twisted a little bit. And then if you wait a couple hours, then you'll see someone come out that knows all the facts. Be careful with that, folks, because we are going into where the media has lied so bad. And in my life, I used to watch NBC growing up with my dad, a little peacock thing. And then my dad switched to CBS and he said, they're over there lying. And I was in, I'm going to say going into junior high. And, I watched CBS for a long time, and it was like, I caught him. And then it was like, what do I watch? And so I searched around. CNN was my cup of tea. Well, I don't drink tea. I drink coffee and black. Yeah. I can't say what I normally do because it comes from the movie Airplane. And that little girl says, yeah, I like it strong and black like. And if I say it, that was one of my first strikes. I said it, and they said I was a racist. I was like, what? No, I'm not. Come on, guys. Ellie's not a racist. No, far from it. Far from it. And so I'm going to try to finish up with some of these. Chinese migrants were apprehended of landing in, they were trying to come over the border, and when they found out people, the camera and the media was finding this stuff out, they decided that it might be easier to do Florida or Louisiana. Well, what they're finding out, these are spies. They were coming in, they're engineering spies. I'm not sure what an engineering spy is, except for maybe computer and social networking. But they did catch them. Um, um, and the other thing is, with these Chinese guys, they did find a bunch of them in fatigues. They have found, they say at least 1,000 migrants coming in as a group. So think about this. There was 12 to 50, almost like a whole platoon in their fatigues that came over the border there. But they didn't go through the regular channels. They came across illegally. And they were in fatigues. And they were the ones even robbing farmers, breaking into their houses. So they have these Chinese guys now that were caught on the border in the fatigues, but now they have moved into regular clothing, but they got caught off of Florida now. And so I thought, okay, this is the end of it. And then I checked into Canada and up around some of the northern states to see if any Chinese illegals were coming in up there. And lo and behold, there was. There's a bunch of them that went in, uh, kind of New York or so, or Canada, and now they are bringing others in Canada into the United States through Canada up around the northern states. So, that this whole thing with these are all good guys coming in, no, 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 because even within the last few days, they've caught a few that were terrorists or on the terrorist watch list. So we've been right on this here at the show, saying that we don't know. I feel there's way more. I feel there's way more because ISIS even said that they were going to come through our borders. And when they did and they got together, that we would pay for what we've done. And so, and they're being trained. There's training camps all over this country, folks. If you're new, I've done it on that. We have at least 5 or 6 different training camps in the United States that not only for ISIS, but even these gangs, MS-13. And they said they're being overrun. This is the newest I've heard out of Michigan, up around Dearborn. I got a friend up there, and she said they're complaining that the camps are being overrun by too many military. So these are huge. These are 10, 20 acres, and there's too many. So they're going to have to open up more. Well, thank God there is a bill that is being passed that is stopping these camps. Now they are going after the church camps, and it sounds like a Waco thing. But they said if it's a militant military type of camp or cult, they're going to start going after. And not only, I think it was for Michigan and Wisconsin, but other states are now falling in line to keep them from having these camps. Oklahoma, I believe, is one. We have one just right on the border of Oklahoma and Arkansas. And I've wanted to go over there and see, but every time I've had the chance to, everybody says, "Oh, no, 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 you're going to get yourself hurt." So I haven't went. I want to. I think it'd be a great idea, but how dangerous is it now if they're being overrun and they're going to start up, they say a twin camp. So what they mean by that is, let's say the one in Oklahoma, they're going to get the property next to it so they can build another camp instead of, sending them on. But, do we want them sent on? Like the article says, do we want them sent on to what? To go, and they're getting gang members into this. They said the induction of gang members is about 10%, which is 10%, and they said even Antifa, 10% of these groups are going with these ISIS guys to be trained to be terrorists. That's what they're being trained for. So, this isn't good. And so I'm going to keep an eye on it. Now, anybody watching Churchill Downs? They've lost 8 horses now. 8. What's going on? I mean, I don't think the horses got the pandemic or anything, and they didn't get that thing that everybody had to get. I don't want to say it because I don't want to be cut. Now, the first 1 or 2, I thought, okay, yeah, and then the third, and then the fourth, the fifth, and I'm like, whoa, this is getting odd. I'm gonna have to call my friend. She used to work for some of these tracks, and ask her what she thinks. But 8 horses now at Churchill Downs have died. They're with multiple issues. So now we're seeing this going on with the horses. It just seems odd, really odd. Um, um, and we we do that. We hear about fentanyl, and so now the new things, and this is coming out of Los Angeles, and I'm from California, so I hear stuff. It's This is a major amount of overdoses. Um, they are say it's a tranquilizer mixed with fentanyl. Like, you remember me and William talked about this, where it kind of makes you zombies, but you forget, or no, it was me and Lee. I'm sorry, not me and William. Me and Lee talked about this, where you would forget. Well, what they're finding out is now it's eating their flesh. Yeah, it's a drug that's in some circles. It's very powerful. The drug is known to chemists as exlazine or zine, Xylazine, and it's used to sedate horses and cattle. And it's not meant for humans. Well, they say the same thing with fentanyl, these tranquilizers, but when it's mixed, they have said it is a zombie drug. And it's been found in most U.S. cities, but they're basically it's been saturated into New York. But the problem is, it's eating the flesh off of people. It's it's like it's crazy. Like it's a bomb, they say. It has an effect. It hits your bloodstream, and it does something not only to your mind to where there's no pain. It's like they say you're riding a roller coaster, but no pain. And they said a lot of people that had done heroin have switched to this. And now they're finding out that I wish I could show it to you, but you know how meth will cause sores. Well, these are sores that grow and grow and grow. It's something in it that's eating the flesh. Um, and they have warned people in New York about this, but they just won't listen. So this is, not only do we have them mixing um, fentanyl with other sedatives that, for these girls where they don't know what they've done. And not only that, but they do it to these kids in movement when they move them from one spot to another spot to where they're into human trafficking. And then they have no clue. They have no clue where they were, what they've done, and who, and basically anything that is these traffickers want them to do, they give it to them, and hours later they wake up and have no clue. They're doing this to children with this tranquilizer with the fentanyl. Now then there's a zombie drug, and then now they've got this new one with a horse tranquilizer or cattle, and it's eating the flesh. And who's they're not doing nothing. Nobody's doing nothing for it. Um, and and then California, boy, everything's in California and stuff today. And maybe we should listen to them on this. California's always been wrong, but you know what? They're saying that because of the solar and everything to conserve power, that all these um, voting booths that are run on electricity strains their power on election day. So they are considering going back to paper ballots. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's go back to paper ballots. Let's see what happens. I mean, because if they're going to force this solar thing on us, why not? Why not go? Let's put Dominion off to the side, and let's do paper ballots. But boy, Dominion would be so upset. They would be, folks. All right. And then the DC Botanical Gardens. I don't know. I think this is Camilla Harris in the works. They want to put marijuana in the botanical gardens. That's a new bill they want to sign in for a couple 100,000. I watched Democrats like Nadler saying that um, cutting certain bills that they want. What's the issue with it? Why would they do that? Uh, and making the GOP seem wrong for cutting anything off of what they want out of these bills. But then they have a bill for a couple 100,000 to put marijuana in the botanical gardens in DC. For what? Okay. Well, folks, um, that is it. I hope you guys really enjoyed the show, and there was a lot to it. I didn't do the same old Durham report with you tonight. I wanted to let you know maybe the insights. And if I could find that article with Bongino, we all know what they did with the Mueller report. We all know that Hillary Clinton's responsible for this. She started it, her and her friends, her group of friends that she gathered up over the years, and they did it. And if Trump wouldn't have made it, it would have been whoever else. It don't matter who makes it in. They just want to win. So you guys subscribe and hit the like button and share it with family and friends. And we're going to keep growing. And William even wants to do some new things. And I said, yeah, go for it. Um, and Lee wants to come back. He wants to. He said he wants to come back the next few Mondays. So we might have Lee back on Mondays until Randy's had some real sick kitties, and she don't know why. So she has been. She had to back off and see what's up with because she is cat rescue, and a lot of her cats are getting sick, and she needs to figure out what to do. So I told her, and I'm going away next week. So I said, in a couple weeks, we'll see what happens. But Lee does want to come back, so we'll have a few shows with Lee, and of course we got the World War III report tomorrow, and we always finish off the week with trivia. So with that, hit your like button, hit your share, hit that bell. If you're not seeing seeing me come up that I've got a live show on, then you got to re-hit that bell. Over on Facebook, hit the follow. And thank you all over there in Facebook. And watching, don't worry, you just come on back. Watching the trains. Yeah, you just come on back. So with that, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great Tuesday. A wonderful Tuesday. It's the start of a great week of a lot of really good shows. So come on back tomorrow.